Alright guys, it's been a while, I know, but today we're gonna do a Super Doomspire tier list. So my opinion has changed on this game a lot, but it doesn't mean much things are like drastic or whatever, because I can't really tell where some tier lists may be because I have not watched any of them, but I can tell from my player base and also from a lot of other tools I tried out, since I have all of them. I can't tell the difference though on what tool is good or not, and that's kind of what is going to drive this tier list right now. So yeah, I'm sorry. I can tell from my player base and also from a lot of other everything's working fine. So I'm gonna wait for some people to be here right now. Anyways, let's get this started right now, because I'm bored and I don't think anyone's really coming to the stream right now, so yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna start this off in like probably 6 tiers right now. Alright, 7 tiers. Alright, so the first tier is going to be mid of the line, and the second usable, and usable and good. Very useful and reliable. Great blue line and meta. The other ones are gonna be bad and unreliable, and bottom of the barrel trash. So I'm looking in this in a vacuum, of course, because I want to basically just like see how they do it in sets, kits, and how they just do in general. Like, you know, if I get to like one set, it'd be really bad, but like if I get to one set, it'd be really good. So I'm looking at all the potential of that great set, but not like the bad ones, but like just anything that could be good in the combo with it. Anyways, why don't we start with the default sword, because I feel like that'd be a good place to start, you know? Anyway, where is it? Alright, it's right here. I think default sword, honestly, deserves to be broken and centralizing. I know why a lot of people say, oh, it's just the default sword, what's there to go about? It's actually one of the best swords in the game, man, for real. Like, I don't know how, but the beginner sword is actually so good. It's pretty fast, has good combos, one of the fastest swings in the game, really balanced, but takes a lot of skill to use. Also, the whole lunge is very useful because there's no cooldown really. And besides, like, the mid-air attack is also very good, and also the zoning for the ground attack, I think it's pretty good, man. Like, a lot of people don't use this, but it shows how great it is and how much skill you need to use it. So I think it's pretty good, honestly. And next one would be Boomerang. Now listen, I know a lot of people say it's literally just like knob ball. Like, why is it here? I'm gonna put that a bit. Because I think that if you were to get trade-off kills, this thing would be really good. And the thing about it is that it's good for zoning, has pretty low cooldown time, does damage if your opponent is stupid enough to rock back right to you. And you know, like, it destroys windows pretty well for the bricks. I think it's pretty good, man. Like, it's unholy how like, it's pretty good, man. Yeah, like, Boomerang, it's underrated in my opinion. It just needs a little bit more work for sets. Now, Coconut. Easily broken in best centralizing. I think this thing needs a nerf, actually. I know it would probably take the whole, like, you know, sample of Coconut and, like, whole gist of it. But this thing really needs a nerf. It's not okay. Like, it's actually so broken. Like, if we charge it, they are mega dead as soon as you touch them. Like, there's no time to get dragged out of it. And overall, like, it's kind of broken, bro. Like, it's just a very good ball. Like, it's the best ball in the game, in my opinion, besides Shuriken. But that Shuriken needs actual skill to use. Like this, no, anyone can use this. And I think it's a good thing, honestly. But this thing is not okay at its current state. Like, it's actually kind of broken, bro. Anyways, let's go back to the trash, though. Alright. So let's go with Frost Staff. Frost Staff is ass. Like, Frost Staff is not good at all, man. Like, sure, the trade-off for the damage could be pretty good, but, like, not really. It's not really a good trade-off at all, actually. Like, unless you're using some super high damage sets, or just things you want kills for, then you're not going to win with this. Because the damage in Freeze Effect is, like, good, because Freeze Effect is always a good stat to have. But in my opinion, it's just not good for a rocket like this, man. Like, it's just so bad. And it's really slow, too. And also, it is, like, 40 minus, so you almost want to never use this out of other rockets, man. It's like one of the worst items in the game. But yeah, like, it ain't that good, man. Alright, let's go with Ice Sword. Honestly, kind of underrated. This thing is actually so annoying to deal with. Like, if you don't know the matchup against, like, the Ice Sword Freeze Effect, then you're ultra dead. Because you need to get out that range, especially, and you're getting more time to respect them. Because if you don't attack them and they're just gonna throw Ice Sword Beam or whatever, and they actually manage to ball you for it, you're mega dead. Because honestly, it's really hard to just get around it. But there's one glaring weakness, is that this thing is slow as shit. I'm not saying like the swing is slow or anything. It's just like if you just play around it in neutral, and if you just like, you know, gather range, they can't really do anything besides try and fight back at the wrong range. But if you're doing that, then they won't be a good set, because you want them to fight at closer range, and then you can punch off it with your high damaging weapons. So it's very good, but I think that the whole defense play can ruin it a little bit. But it's really annoying, and it's really good. Alright, so I'll put Pokeball in mid of the line. Like, I can see this being like usable and good, but Boomerang heavily outclasses it. Not for the reason you expect though. It's because Pokeball, your main objective is to basically charge it. But Boomerang, you don't really need a charge. You just kind of throw it. But Pokeball, you need that charge for the damage. It's kind of like Shuriken, but worse, in my opinion. And sure, you can get the job done, but like, it's outclassed by a lot of things. Because Boomerang has like low cooldown, and also it's just pretty good at like closing the gap. But you need aim for Pokeball. You don't need aim for Boomerang, because Boomerang's just kind of free at close range. So I think it's a little bit worse than Boomerang. Not saying that these things don't say the same purpose. I'm just saying that it's a bit outclassed, you know? You know what I'm saying, man? Anyway, we are going to put another song on. Alright, so I think the next ball I'm gonna put is honestly going to be Snowball, but I'm not sure where to put it. Yeah, this is so hard to put it. Nah, I forgot I'm putting it here. Like, this thing is so good for combos. Like, it's annoying. It's hard to play around. It comes out quick. I'm sure it's just a ragdoll, but who needs it? Like, they're slowed down forever. I mean, forever. Like, Snowball is actually so underrated. Like, it's actually so broken right now. Sure, it might, like, have some weaknesses. But who cares, honestly? All you need is a freeze effect, and you're good. And plus, it's actually pretty good at, like, controlling neutral, though. Like, if someone's looking at you, you just do BAM, freaking Snowball, and they die. Like, and it does damage, too, so... yeah, man, it's just a very good kill option. Anyways, let's go with underrated weapon. Not hot take, but yes, this is the ultimate control space tool. In my opinion, in my extension, could be better than Ball Turret. I know, like, Ball Turret is like aimbot, basically just control the last space and it's hard to destroy. But this is even harder to destroy, even though it doesn't control as much space. And the fact that you can place it down to a retreating opponent and just like, oh, you're trying to attack me, I can just run onto my own spike, and then if you run back into it and lunge to it, then you die. Like, it's actually so good. But like, the reason why it's not like on great top of the line is just because like in certain sets it's just not that good. Also, did I mention you can clutch with this if you're skilled enough? Like, it's actually so insane. But no one uses it, so I don't know much for other players in the sets. Anyway, let's go with one of the most overrated weapons in the entire game. I think this is actually so overrated. First, it's like a close range. It's like a ball. It's like getting reflected. And third, if you get reflected, you're not reflecting it back. Like, it's too fast and too like small to reflect back. And the only thing that gets people off guard is the radius. Like, the radius is broken as hell. Don't get me wrong, but I think that it's just I think that is just kind of a little hard to, you know, like get down from it, because like the blast is kind of slow, you know, like the radius is insane. So you want to space this, but be ready for that reflect. Either way, Rocket Jump's so broken for this, and also it's just very fast and it does a lot of damage. It does 200 damage, bro. That's insane. Like, you can call this any aggressive set, and you got yourself one of the best freaking rushdown sets of all time. Anyways, what do you want me to say? Even with the buff, Twitch Paper is not that much an optimal tool to use. First, the mobility. Why I add the mobility is even worse than a home runner and fire sword combined. Like, the special is like okay at killing, but like that's only if they're on the ground. And you know the special is like pretty good and stuff. At like breaking down a bunch of buildings. That's the only thing that's good at. So I don't see any use besides just going with like Shadow Dragon to like kill people or just get better freaking rocks for like your tools. So I really have no reason to use this, nor does anyone have any reason to use it. Anyways, you know what's a good sword though? Yeah, Red Sword is, my extension, one of the best things to use in Sudden Death, and that's one of the best uses for like PvP and stuff. Because like, if you just cancel it with any other tool, the walk speed does not matter. It does not matter. That thing will still kill you outright. And even though like the whole like camping people out with things like balls could be like a problem, it's still not enough to make it a bad weapon at all. Because if you have something like Shuriken with Greatsword, then you're fine. And plus, like, can you imagine rocket jumping with Great Spin is actually so good? Like, it's kind of unholy if I'm being honest. It might be better than Fireflight if you're not using remote detonator. Anyways, Dark Heart. It's kind of mid. Now, I know that it can drain some people's health, but I still don't think it's that good. Like, I'm pretty sure the lunge is not that good than others. Let me see. Dark Heart, alright. Alright, let me see. Alright. So as a slower sleeping speed, 33 longer recharge time for lunge. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. So yeah, that's why I think that it's not as good as other swords, because even though the lifesteal is pretty good in some situations, especially if you're getting kills, the other things aren't good. Like, just might be useful in some situations where they're at low health, and you can just kind of swing and rocket jump, then gun and swing attack, but like, just ain't good. I mean, it's usable and good, but like, for other swords compared to that, yeah, no. Alright, let's go with the rocket launcher. This is the most balanced weapon in the game, in my opinion. Like, it's actually really good and balanced. Like, sure, you die at like 0% if you don't get hit by like the whole thing, but that's only gonna happen if you're really not expecting it, or it gets reflected to you when you're lunging, or if you just like get caught out in the air. Besides that, it takes a long time to recharge. Just really balanced, really. Like, the only issue is that it takes a long time to recharge, or it's just like the radius is just fine enough. Everything's just fine enough about it, but having a great mobility tool and just all reliable like that is just so good to keep on sets. You know, with something that's even better than that. Laser cannon. Oh, my bad, I didn't mean to do that. Laser cannon is honestly one of the best rockets in the entire game, if not the best. It's just a better rocket launcher, honestly, for the default. Like, you know, there's a more reload time. This thing is broken! Like, freaking more damage, more radius, because there's 2 rockets, and there happens to just be a lot of good like combos into this. It's good for any set ever. Like if you're using like something like Brick Breaker, freaking Trust Chow, freaking like Shadow Bomb and Paint Gun, you still can do so well with this entire weapon, because like it's just such a good like slap on. Hey, it's a great addition to your set. Like this is actually one of the best weapons in the game, in my opinion. Very good. Anyways, Rockstar. It's a weapon. I don't forget. I'm screwing it. I don't care if there's a useless AOS ability that you can just use a special even if you're shooting a rocket. Like this thing is just not good. Like first, it leaves you wide open for any attack. It's one of the slowest weapons in the game, and the mobility is not that good. The rocket jump's alright, but I can set for any rocket jump really. And it's just a really bad weapon, man. I have no idea why people use this still. Like, sure, you can use it in the podium when you win and stuff. That's pretty cool. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the tier list at all. But like, I don't know why people use this weapon at all. It's so bad. Anyways, let's get into a pretty good weapon, though. I'd say the pretty good weapon is going to be Frying Pan. Frying Pan is actually so OD, it's too much. The only reason why it's not like better than some other swords is because of the mobility. The mobility is the main thing. But if you're facing on ledge for any like stage that has like a really bad like void placing, then you just die. And plus, this is really good for other sets that have like Hosshog and stuff, because the mobility doesn't even matter at that point. But yeah. Also, speaking of Hosshog, where is it? Oh yeah, it is very useful. The reason why I'm not putting it in great top of the line is just because the damage actually kind of matters a lot. Like unless you're like smart about using it and you just know when to take down your enemy before rocket jumping or anything, it takes so much skill to use. Honestly, one of the most skillful weapons in this entire game. Because, like, you have to know when you want to attack your opponent, rocket jump, or take down towers. Like, you just have to know everything. Like, you have to know a lot about the game in this rocket launcher, just because it takes so much skill to use. Like, I can see it rising up here from now for its potential, but, like, man, it's actually so hard to use. Anyways, let's go with the underrated weapon. Vox Caliber. Listen, I know that the lunge is a very big problem for Vox Caliber, just because it has a 30% like lunge speed resistance, cause like the 30 minus is actually so bad. But the fact that you can get mad hops with this weapon with rocket jumping, and also the swing effect where you just go in the air and you know attack. That thing is actually so busted for combos. Besides, it's very good either way because lunge is everything you need in a set. Because lunge is actually so good in this game. It's the most freest freaking attack in the entire game. And it's just the best move in the entire game, period. But Vox Caliber, it doesn't really need that because first, damage output is really good. The mobility for the vertical distance is actually so good. And it's a really balanced weapon in my opinion. I think the nerf was deserved, but it's kind of underrated, I'm not gonna lie. I give it like an 8.9 out of 10 honestly, because this thing is so good for arguably being the best weapon in the game. But pre-nerf, yeah. Anyways, let's go with Slingshot. It's kind of mid. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, Slingshot's so annoying, I don't know how to deal with it. It's actually so broken. Hear me out. It's only good because you can't reflect it. That's it. Like, as chip damage, that's alright, but like, literally there's other balls that do things way better. And I know a lot of people who play original Doomspire are gonna come at me like, oh, but what about the time where you just rocket jump and then you slingshot and then you lunge? Like, that's a pretty good asset. No, that's a gimmick, and it always will be. I don't see it becoming any other better. It has one of the least potentials in this game. It's just there for now, and it always will be, in my opinion. Lava Ball. Pretty underrated. A lot of people prefer Shuriken. I can see why, definitely. But Lava Ball is actually kind of OD. Like, burns you, has a pretty good speed, not the best. And the damage is actually really nice, despite, I think it can ragdoll maybe? Not sure. But, either way, even if it doesn't ragdoll, you don't really need it to be, because the damage is just nice. You want that in every single set you're gonna kill with. And, like, it's pretty balanced, honestly. No, is it balanced though? Where is it though? Oh yeah. This is honestly one of the best weapons in the game, and there's no cap for it. Shadow Shuriken is so good. First, it does 60 damage if you charge it. And it's really good for taking down a lot of windows. And it's also just really good in general for like spacing out and zoning out opponents. Like in the lingering hitbox, sometimes with you get Wise Eye or something, and you can know more visually effects, is that it's really broken. But the reason why I play a broken message line is because of the potential. All Shadow Shuriken users are very bad at aiming, but if you use a tiny bit of visualization, then you can just easily win this. It's actually so good. Like, I don't know how it's to potentially go up more, probably like around here maybe. But like, either way, it's actually kind of good. Like, it's just so good in every single situation possible. It's like the best ball, besides Coconut, obviously, because Coconut is everything you want in a set. Anyways, let's go with my main home runner. It's alright. Now listen, I used to think this was like easily top from freaking 10 in the game. My opinion kind of shifted away from that a little bit. Like, I know like the freaking home run stat for it is pretty good, because swing attack you can use it to edge guard, and also the knockback very good. The reflect very good, and also the swing for like home run you can really kill opponents easily without any walls. And if they do hit a wall next to you, they die anyways, because the ragdoll is insane. But why is it like down here if all of those positives are good? I'll tell you why. Mobility. This thing has the worst mobility in the entire game. It gets camped out by a lot of lunge attacks and balls. Like, rockets not so much, because you can easily reflect that if you're smart enough. But man, is it really just detrimenting for a lot of attacks to just go out like that. Like, getting camped out and using home runner feels awful. And then you start losing aim because you get mad. Like, literally a home runner takes so much skill to use. I can see it going up if people play smart and have like a good set, like remote detonator, freaking Wise Eye, ball turret, and like laser cannon. But at the same time, it gets hell camped out. Like, it actually gets camped out so hard. It's not even funny. Anyways, let's go with bow. I mean, it's just the bow. I'm not saying like bow mains don't work hard. They work extra hard. But in terms of just like range, it's pretty alright. Damage, it's also pretty alright. The reason why is because like it's really slow. Like, anyone can see us coming and just dodge it and rocket jump away from it, or just kind of shift lock and then make your character go to the side and they just dodge him. Like, well, what the heck? This kind of weapon kind of ass. But yeah, it ain't that good. But like, I can see it going up. It has a lot of potential. It's kind of underrated, but either way, not that good. It's usable and good, but like, meh. Anyways, Umbrella. This honestly might be one of the best stalling tools in the entire game. I mean, stalling's not a good option, but when you're trying to just get away from your opponent and then you can immediately just ball them, that's pretty good. And also the thing about it is, because since that it has good like mobility, like hella good mobility in the air. It's actually pretty good for getting away. Like it strives in islands, but everything else not so much. And yes, this is map dependent too. Like it's alright, but not enough to be like in great at top of the line. Nowhere near. And it's also almost unusable and good, but honestly, yeah, I see it. But anyways, Boomerang. This is not good. I can definitely see it being going up, but like now it's in recent times it's been going down a lot. The reason why is because it's only good for stalling. That's it. Like it's only good for stalling out your opponent or just getting away. Like that's the only thing it's good for. And the damage, just use Boomerang. Like literally just use Boomerang if you want damage, and use Boomerang if you just want to kill your opponent. Like use Boomerang for literally anything else. This thing is not good. Like it's only good for stalling. Does that thing really well, but that's not enough to save it from being in mid of the line. So it's Super Ball. Super Ball is also probably top of the line, but like it's really outclassed by some other balls like Snowball and Coconut. It's really fast. Don't get me wrong. This thing is fast as shit. But like, I still think the payoff is a little tiny bit out there, you know. Anyways, let's stick with another underrated weapon, Scope Shot. Scope Shot is honestly takes so much skill to use, but it's very good at what it does. Like it kills opponents from sniping. You can easily just snipe someone across the map about it, because the range is insane. The kill power is insane if you have like really good aim. And sure, like the whole like taking down blocks is really bad, but who needs that? Like you have bombs anyways. And plus, your main priority is just to kill players with this weapon. And if you're doing that, then you're Gucci. You're fine. Anyways, let's go with Ball Turret. Ball Turret is honestly just kind of overrated. What I've learned now is that I've always hated this weapon, or just tool in general. Like it's not fun. But when I found out you can just destroy the ball turrets really easily, even if they build another one up, it takes 15 blocks to use. Barely has like, you know, like any like mobility or range. The range is alright, but mobility is not. Because basically, if you just move away from it and get out of the range, you can see it coming and just dodge it. And it's really easy to do that. And the whole like durability of it is not good either. Because if they just jerk in it, it just dies. It literally just dies. Sure, it's good for spacing. I'm very good on deathmatch too. But in other words, it's kind of overrated in my opinion. Not gonna lie. Anyways, let's go with Fire Sword. I see this being a little bit worse than Ice Sword in my opinion. Like, it's only the players. I think Fire Sword is very good, but the players of Fire Sword are so ass in this game. Like, I see the potential of it, but like, I can never see it when players just keep spamming this one and new players thinking like it's the best thing in the game. Like, there hasn't been one Fire Sword main that's been like using it smart. So until we wait for that day, maybe it could be create top of the line, but I don't see it. It's really only used for killing and like using the projectile to just get chip damage out. Because doing the projectile is really OD, but it's not that good for like when the opponent's out of the range of it. So yeah, but there's one thing that it is good for. I think that tennis racket is honestly underrated. Sure, it's only used for bad people again, but the zoning game it has, and also the whole like edge guarding, it's actually so good. Like, I love the fact that the projectile is very useful for zoning, and also the close-up range is also great. I think it's pretty good, honestly. Like, it's not anything special, but like it's pretty good. So let's go more with the bombs now. Square bomb. I mean, like, it's alright. Like, the fact that you use it for home runner and just get blocks, honestly, that's pretty good. And also, it does very good rocket jumps. I mean bomb jumps, and also it's just very like great at controlling the blocks you have because it has a great damage radius. But you know what's even more great? Sticky bomb. This thing is actually so cool. Now, bias aside, because I used to use sticky bomb all the time back in the day. It's actually so good for getting out players because they have to destroy the rocket and burn it, and then if they don't have the rocket, they're forced to scrap with you. That's a very good ability in Fear Factor. If they use the rocket, then they're ultra dead. And if you try to get some blocks with it, it's very good either way because, well, it's a bomb. And besides, even though the bomb jump isn't that good primarily, it's still a very good asset to have. And if they get it out, then you can just well, it can roll on the floor, so it doesn't really stick anymore. So, good asset to have in PvP sets. Bombardier. This thing got hella nerfed. It is barely usable and good. I know it's a rocket. But hear me out. This thing is only useful for diving with rockets, and also just bomb jumping a little bit. I mean, rocket jumping a little bit. And sure, it may be good for taking down a lot of blocks, but man, this force up its real thing, because this thing had a lot of radius, and besides that, they had a lot of going for it because the rocket jumps and the mobility and the whole like just very good at taking down blocks. And the kill power. That kill power murdered at pre-patch. Like, that was insane. But now, sometimes the rocket just absolutely doesn't do jack. Because frickin' rockets, they just go through floors sometimes and walls. And that's a very big issue. It could be better, but right now I'm putting it there. I see potential, but is it hard to use? Yes. Trampoline trowel. This thing is actually so annoying. It's really good for stalling. It only needs 10 bricks. Less than ball turret. Also, it's very good for getting down like back up to some places where you need to be. It's just a really decent trowel. They nerfed it a lot, but I feel like that's a better option because this trampoline trowel was broken when it got nerfed. It used to just stay straight up a lot further. Like, if it was pre-patch, it'd be like somewhere around here. But honestly, it's a four shell of itself, so I can't really break it anywhere. Bridge shell. Why are you here if you think bridge shell is gonna be anywhere up here? It's just not good. It's really bad because you can't clutch unless you're like frame perfect or whatever, but it's so slow. And also, it just really is bad for setting up space because why would you need this? Only noobs use this anyways. It's just the worst thing in the entire game. It's not good. You know what's better though? A better version of it? This. Awesome. Should I move? No, I'm gonna bump it down actually. So I think that Trust Trowel is actually really good because it can clutch, it can trowel bridge, it can also just get you to where you need to be. It only costs 2 bricks, and it's just very, very good at what it does. But the main reason why I'm putting it below them is because like it just doesn't really do other things better. But you know what's also great? The original trowel. This thing is so good for clutching. This thing is so good for setting up zone. This thing is so good for getting away. It's just the most greatest trowel you'll ever get, really. It's all reliable. You know, more of the trowels. Cage trowel. It chases the opponent, gets up for combos, also clutches, also is very good at classic, and it just happens to sometimes just, well, get you away from opponents, because you can just like cage them and then run away and rocket jump away. So yeah, it's very good. Anyways, let's get on to the last, which is all shadows for some reason, and paint gun. Yeah, it's alright. Sure, it can be reflected, but the zoning it has is pretty good. And if they don't time the reflects right, then yeah. But I see it going down a little bit just because people stop using it, and also it's just not that good of a zoning because other balls can zone better than it. Arm cannon. Literally the epitome of mid. Sure, the rocket jump is really good, but I think that everything else gets classified bomb barrier because it has more radius, so it has like less time. And hostile, yeah, hostile is just way better than arm cannon, honestly. But it's alright. Now the original bomb, yeah, I can see it being somewhere around here. I'll put it in there, yeah. Also, this quick note, this may be ordered in any way you really see it. But yeah, we got the shadows next. We need like just the way we're gonna go with this. Anyways, this is where we get good. A lot of these have been nerfed because you want to know why there's nerf? Because they're freaking broken! Well, except for Shao Kahn now, and also Shao Dragon. But Shao Kahn's a really good jail free card, and also is good for getting out bricks. So, let's go with the worst of all of them. Besides Remote Detonator, of course, obviously. So, we're going to go with bad and unreliable. Now listen, Shao Bomb can have its uses, barely. But, there is a very niche usage of it where it can make you invisible for some time, but barely invisible basically. And also it can benefit your team a little bit if you use it towards them. But the reason is the bomb jump is horrendous, and also the damage output isn't good. But it's not like the worst, it's just bad. Anyways, Shao Kahn. This is actually so good in some situations. Like, for getting away, even though it takes 15 bricks, it's kind of broken, honestly, because you can go through walls, you can use it to block opponents' attacks because they get exploded by the Shao Clone. Sure, Home Runner hard counters Shao Clone a little bit because it can home run the Shao Clone and then you get a boost from it. But honestly, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Remote Detonator. This is one of the most things that takes so much skill to use. The reason why I'm not putting it here is because the amount of skill you need to use for Remote Detonator is very hard. Sure, Octopus is a little bit mid, and also, like, it's so hard to use, but, like, the thing is about it is that it's actually so rewarding. It gets great mobility, it also has multiple of uses, and it butterflies so freaking well. It's one of the best things you can add to the set. Remote Detonator Home Runner. That is so broken. The reason why I'm not putting it any higher is just because it takes so much skill to use and it's hard. Shao Dragon. Let's go. It's been very useful. I think it's a little bit outclassed by the Rocket Launcher and Crystal Blaster a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very good, but, like, I think that it's not entirely, like, ideal. Even though the damage output is very good, and it also has one of the longest flame effects in the entire game. But the reason why I'm putting it lower is just because that it's just outclassed for a lot of things. Like, if it were for any other rocket launchers, like Crystal Blaster and Default Rocket Launcher, it'd be in meta centralizing, honestly. But, yeah, it's outclassed. Anyways, you know what you're here for. You already know what you're here for, so why are you still here watching this video? Why Sling is low, low. Bridge is good, what you mean? You can clutch, it creates free ground. No, it doesn't. It does not create free ground. The only reason why I put Bridge Shadow there is just because it can't clutch well as others. And the fact that, like, it just takes so much bricks to use, which is 3, not the best bricks, but why would you want to use it when Trial exists? Trial exists. Why are you saying this? Shut up. Anyways, you already know what you're here for, so why are you still watching this? I've said this for like millions of years, ever since the game came out. I said this every single time I go in servers, whenever this player is using this weapon. I literally cannot make a better weapon than this. That is more meta centralizing. It's like the melee fox of Super Doomspire. It's the Donkey Kong of Super Doomspire. It is literally the freaking Android 12 of DBZ in Super Doomspire. The Dragon Ball Fighters. Like, this thing is broken! You already know what's on screen. Like, look at it. Look at it. Like, what's the point? What is the point of putting it here any longer? I already, like, kind of spoiled the truth, but whatever, man. Like, you already know what it is. This thing is the best tool in the entire game. Just because of how well it zones, does aggressively, like, kills players, does great mobility. If it's nerfed, the whole concept of Saddle Blade is to do so much freaking damage and also zone well. Like, that's all you want into a Doomspire, is to zone well, like, live for long, have great mobility. That's the whole point of Doomspire, and that's what the meta of this game is. And the whole like community is downplaying this weapon for so long. The fact that so many Shadow Blade just downplay this weapon and say, "Oh, it's not the best of the game," like the nerf basically killed it. No, it didn't, because so many people still use this, so many people still get this down, and so many people still love using this weapon because of its perks. Like, this thing is a killer. Like, I can't name a more OP or different weapon than this. Like, this is Super Doomspire's logo at this point, because it is the trademark of PvP, because it is so damn good. It is broken. Honestly, I would put it on its own tier of itself, but the fact that it got that nerf, I can't. But still, this is still the most freest weapon in the game. It is so good, just because of the launch speed itself. It used to be even better. It used to be so unbeatable at the point. In fact, I think losing Shadow Blade is a choice. It is broken. But I can't deny any other people that have their opinions. Anyways, that's my Super Doomspire tier list. Bottom of the barrel trash, bad and unreliable, middle of the line, unusable. I mean, usable but good. Very usable and reliable, great on top of the line, and broken and meta centralizing. So, if any of you have any opinions, let me know in the comment section. Just because this is my first Super Doomspire tier list ever. Like, I was too scared to do it, but I got on my shell. I did it. I think I'm pretty proud of it, honestly. Like, it's a pretty good tier list in my opinion. Like, I'm not saying it's like the best list ever. Like, obviously, I'm still a mid-level player, or a high-level player if you're depending which mood I am in. But I think it's a pretty good tier list, man. Anyways, I'm gonna save this because I might download to other people. So yeah, that's my Super Doomspire tier list. If you like this stream and video, then just make sure to subscribe, because I will be doing a lot of Super Doomspire content soon. But